Good morning guys, Emily Craven here and welcome to the Monday vlog. Now if you want to feel the pressure of being a professional author but on the scale of like a billion, then start a Kickstarter project promising to write a novel from scratch in a month. Personally, I prefer to eat this rock while handstanding on a bear rather than expose my writing to 1,000 supporters. Irregardless, that's what the champs from the Self-Publishing Podcast did in the month of June. The Self-Publishing Podcast consists of Sean Platt, Johnny B. Truant and David Wright, who write the majority of their popular series collaboratively. Last year alone, they wrote 1.5 million words. This is the best writing course I've ever done and an amazing example of how writing fast does not necessarily mean you are writing poorly. In this lesson, I'm going to distill the 4 reasons why I think that these boys are successful indie authors and how you can apply these same lessons to your own writing and career. This Fiction Unboxed course is my kind of learning. It's learning by example. The boys wrote this novel from concept to finished manuscript in 30 days, allowing every Kickstarter backer to view every email, every rough draft, every minute edit, and every brainstorming session they had along the way, including all of the world building that they did. It was super inspiring and pretty intense. They produced so much content. I'm still catching up. It's the middle of July and I haven't even touched the forum boards. I mean, how do they do it? I'm now convinced that Johnny and Sean are writing robots from the future, complete with dirty mind and free language subroutines. But man, do I want to see more writers do this. Imagine being able to watch a dozen authors bringing their novels from start to finish before your eyes, letting you in on every part of their process, allowing you to pick and choose parts of their process that work for you and streamline it into your own writing process that helps turn you into like a creative writing monster. Hey, what you looking at? Don't judge me while I'm creating art. Writers are always learning and seeing into another writer's process is invaluable. I found myself so inspired by the process and so involved that as I was listening to their brainstorming sessions, it was igniting ideas off left, right and centre, and I felt like I was becoming a third wheel in their discussion. Boys, what you've just described is the scientific principle of XYZ, and that means you can include a blah blah. So here are the 4 lessons that I took away from watching Fiction Unboxed for the past month. Lesson 1, you need to find a writing buddy to soundboard off. A brainstorming partner to take all of your crappy ideas, get excited about them, and make them into better crappy ideas. I do wonder if you'd get the same dynamic if you weren't writing collaboratively with your brainstorming partner, because they would have to read your stuff as you're writing it so they can help you through your writer's blocks. But I think it's really worthwhile. I mean, it takes me about 6 to 12 months to pull together enough ideas to make a full story plot for a novel. It's like knocking ideas out of my head with nunchucks. It hurts. But imagine if I could pull together a plot in a month with a brainstorming partner. How much more fiction would I get written? Listening to them brainstorm just clicked a missing piece into my creative brain, and ever since then I've been soliciting every writer that I've ever had a tiny bit of connection with to see if I can bring them into my What If collaboration brainstorming club. Lesson number 2, your idea is not a precious unicorn fart in your head. It might seem golden, but unless you know how to flesh it out, you're just going to bash the shine right out of it. You need to spend time outlining and planning so you don't get stuck. Even if you're a pantser, you need some sort of creative outline to move forward. Watching the boys put together beats was absolutely eye-opening. They would start with a fully fleshed outline or beats of where they were going, but as they were writing, if the story changed, they wouldn't try and haul it back onto that golden idea. What they would do is they would just keep revising at the end of each week where the beats were going based on what they had already written and how the idea evolved as they were writing it. So it's almost a mix of plotting and pantsing all in one awesome package. No idea was too precious to mould, and in the end they ended up with something much more impactful than the original idea that they started with. Lesson number 3, plan for the low points and have a fix ready to go. It was a relief to see that these writing robots from the future were not immune to blocks. There were points when Johnny needed clarification and a complete change in direction. While Johnny wanted to make sure that the people watching didn't mess with his collaborative process and as such ignored emails, he did make sure that he had a fix ready, which was an immediate meeting with Sean to brainstorm an idea before the next day's writing so that he didn't lose momentum. Speaking of momentum, lesson 4. Momentum is the most important thing you need to bash out a first draft. Disregard all doubts in favour of keeping that momentum up. In a nutshell, just do it. Do whatever you need to do to keep it up. Lock yourself in a closet, close all the windows, hit a word count, sit down and write at the same time every day, listen to the same piece of music every day to get into the zone quicker, but whatever you do, you have to do it every day until that draft is done. And even if you don't write like a maniac like Johnny, if you can get 2,000 words out a day or even 1,500 words out a day, you will have a draft done within a month and a half. Now, I'm saying draft here. We're not talking about the finished product, draft. Whereas you, I know you will go through at least 5 or 6 different passes before you put that baby out. If not, we need to have words. So, if you're one of those impatient people who doesn't like to listen to the talk and just go straight to the end to hear the conclusions, here are the 4 lessons that I learned from Fiction Unboxed this month. Get yourself a brainstorming buddy. Remember, ideas are not precious unicorn farts in your head. You've got to plan them out. Plan for the low points and have a fix ready. And finally, momentum and speed is your best ally in getting that first draft out. If you didn't get to contribute to the Kickstarter campaign or watch it live, don't despair. You can still pay and enjoy the full Fiction Unboxed course at the link below in the words and stuff. Again, thank you so much guys for joining me for my vlogging experiment. Next week's video I'm going to talk about Stephen King's decision not to publish an ebook with his book Joyland, how that affects readers and why you as an indie can't afford to make that same mistake and leave money on the table.